For this Wimbledon, there is a clear favorite, and that's Djokovic. It's really easy to pick him out. First of all, he's won the Australian Open this year, and he's won Roland Garros. And so let's talk about that a little bit. He has an opportunity to win all 4 Grand Slams in one calendar year. And of course, nobody's done that in a long time. So it would be an incredible accomplishment. And it's been a while since somebody had a legitimate opportunity to do that. And I think Djokovic does. It would be amazing if he could win Wimbledon and win the US Open and actually do a calendar year Grand Slam. And of course, the last player that did that was Roger Laver, right? And that has to be at least 60 years ago. So I wanted to point that out. And then, of course, there's other reasons why, not just that Djokovic is having a great year this year in 2021, but of course, he's won Wimbledon a bunch in the past. He won in 2019. Of course, it wasn't played in 2020. He won in 2018, he won in 2015, and he won in 2014. So 4 out of the last 6 Wimbledons, Djokovic won. And so when you combine the fact that he's had such a good history at Wimbledon, along with the way he's been playing this year, I do think that makes him, in my mind, the clear favorite. Now, the one thing that I would say is that, Djokovic played a lot of matches. And, there was just 2 weeks between the French Open final and the start of Wimbledon. So Djokovic didn't play a normal sort of warm-up tournament. He did play doubles in Mallorca, but he didn't play singles at all, right? So I'd say if there was anything that was working against Djokovic, it would be that he may be a little fatigued from all the matches that he's played and won this year, and that he really hasn't had much time to transition, right? It is a pretty, very different surface. And, 2 weeks ago, he was playing the final of Roland Garros, and now he's getting ready for Wimbledon, which will start tomorrow. So I think that would be the one sort of disadvantage that Djokovic would have. Now, my second favorite is Medvedev, and that's for a couple different reasons, right? First of all, he won the Mallorca grass tournament, which is the warm-up to Wimbledon. So he's clearly playing well on grass. And again, he's played really well this year, right? He was the finalist at the Australian Open this year, losing to Djokovic. And he's played really well at the Grand Slam events from the US Open through all of the events over the last year. So that, in my mind, makes him the second favorite. But still, Djokovic being a level above him. And then my third favorite would be Tsitsipas. And again, that's because he's had some great results this year. We all know that he was the finalist at Roland Garros, right? And had that really exciting 5-set match where he got 2 sets up on Djokovic, but Djokovic was able to come back and win. He also made it to the semifinals of the Australian Open. And he's clearly an up-and-coming player who's improving still. He's still quite young. And he has the athletic ability that I think that is required to win on tennis, right? The movement is a big thing on grass, having the balance and being able to move well. Now, he does have a disadvantage, and that is that he hasn't played really well on grass. Yeah, as far as I know, he hasn't won any grass court tournaments, and he hasn't had a great history if you look back at how he's done at Wimbledon over the last couple of years. But I would argue he's a different player now, that he's really sort of come into his own this year. And he's shown by his play at the Australian Open and at Roland Garros that he's ready to challenge the best players in the world. We have another commentator new to the show, someone who I play tennis with, who is an amazing tennis player himself, plays a lot of USTA, also happens to have a really great net game, which I respect incredibly. So, Ted, I'm going to turn it over to you and give you a chance to sort of comment on what we've just talked about.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with anything you just said. The one thing about the early rounds in grass courts is that there's less wear and tear on the courts, and that's where there's more room for the upset. But in my mind, Djokovic is by far and away the clear favorite. I mean, he's the total package, and his desire to win, in my mind, it's like a win at all cost mentality. I mean, my feeling is when he plays tennis, it's life and death. Um, and Medvedev is the number two. There's no doubt about that. I'm not a big Medvedev fan, but he's definitely has talent. Tsitsipas to me is one of the best players and will be one of the best players of all time. He has advantages that others don't have. He has this wide body, and when you're playing in tennis, I always talk about core tennis. And if when he uses his shoulders and torques his hips and his shoulders when he's in his shot, the amount of spin he's able to generate with pace to drive through the ball and through the court and through the racket probably, it's just amazing. And when he's got a little ways to go before he's at his apex, but he definitely has the game to win the Wimbledon. There's no doubt about that.